Hey, all, and welcome to another exciting episode of Coach's Corner. As always, I'm joined with my co-host, Mike Lamb from Focal Point of Utah, and I am once again Adam Gahabe of Focal Point of Cary in the lovely state of North Carolina. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here, excited for this episode.
Awesome, awesome.
Had a
So
great weekend. We just finished off a weekend, so
that's
back at
right.
it this morning on Monday.
Monday morning, we're all happy and smiling. So, back at Coach's Corner, which is our podcast where we sit down, we talk about business challenges, things we're seeing, trends, and we try to bring value each and every week with solving and getting people to think and really reflect on where they are, what they're doing, and how they're running and operating their own businesses. So, Mike, I've been thinking about this, and I know I reached out to you earlier, but all weekend I was kind of just evaluating where I am and what I'm doing and what I'm talking with particular clients, and there was a resounding message that kept coming back to me, and so I figured, well, let's chat about it today. And I'm finding that as it's the beginning of the year, and we always talk about this, we're doing a lot of strategic planning and goal setting and all those things, and people are walking away going, I'm stuck. Like there's too much to do. There's too much going on. I don't know how to get started. And I keep going back to complex problems don't need complex solutions. They need one simple first step to be articulated. So, you know what we're going to talk about today, Mike? KISS. Keep it simple, silly, stupid, all the different S's that some people use.
Smarty.
Smarty, sure. Susan, Sam, if we wanted to go there, it doesn't matter, but keeping it simple, right? And the importance of breaking down these problems and just defining that first step action. So,
Yeah.
how often are you seeing this come up in your discussions, and what are you stressing?
I see it come up almost 100% of the time with business owners and business leaders when I'm discussing long-term plans and even short-term goals that they want to achieve.
Hmm.
I'm seeing that it still feels a little too complex. This is my vision, or this is, the short-term goal of what I want to get to, and I'm going to do this, and this. But they don't really tell me what they're going to do tomorrow to get it started.
Hmm.
And I have to kind of circle them back to that. Okay, what's the very first thing you need to do? Okay, you got this idea, you want to implement this new thing. What will you do tomorrow to get that going? Is it a meeting? Is it a phone call? Is it sitting down with your pad and paper for 15 minutes and writing
Hmm.
out what the plan
Yep.
is?
Yep.
Um, what is happening tomorrow? Because if you don't know what you're going to do tomorrow, then a week could go by and you will not done anything.
Okay, so it's clearly important to getting that first step into making that initial progress. But, why is that important? Why isn't it okay to just lay out a plan and let it hang out for a few weeks and then circle back to it? Why should we take immediate action and understand that first step?
We don't want to let the moss grow. So, and oftentimes, if
Nice.
we procrastinate, things just don't happen and they don't happen quickly. We all want results. We may get to those results, but it may take a lot longer to get there. There'll be a
Right,
lot more
right.
hiccups, a lot more problems, a lot more issues, rather than getting going on it right away and making it something easy. I don't know, I say this a lot on this call, but action creates motivation, not somebody trying to motivate you. Sit in a meeting and everyone's like, rah, 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 we're going to go out and conquer the world. We're going to take this down. Cool. What are we going to do? When you take that first action and you see results immediately from that, the next step of action is going to be so much easier
It is.
and you'll create momentum
Yep.
to get you to that final step.
Piggyback on that, it's not just what the first action, but who owns it? Who's going to take it? What's that time frame? I've been working with a lovely woman lately, and she sent me an infographic over the weekend, and it was basically a picture of, two cliffs that are, a good distance away, and one was representing an idea, and the other was representing the action. And it basically stated, I don't know how to get started. This is too far for me to make this leap. And so, fast forward a bit, it's like, all right, well, if you just take that first step, it kind of bridges that gap and brings those two cliffs together. And that's what kind of spearheaded this whole discussion because far too often, we get these ideas, these goals, and some may be lofty, right? And we are scared to kind of get them started. So we sit on them. And the more we sit on them, the more we get into our own heads, and the actual challenge to make progress gets farther and farther apart, represented by those two cliffs I was just talking about, right? And so getting that first step is so important because it helps us realize that it's not that big distance we have to actually bridge. It's a series of small distances. And you and I talk about this all the time. Continuous growth, continuous improvement. Every day, every week, every month, you're getting better and you're reaching that next step of your goal or your activity that's getting you towards your end goal. But it's the importance of knowing that getting that momentum, getting that inertia, starting that movement in that direction is going to help facilitate and foster that further growth, right?
Yep. 100%. That um, getting that momentum and getting it going and making sure we know who's responsible. And if I'm a business owner, a business leader, and I know that there's people responsible, sometimes I can take action to help them make that small step.
Mm.
So if
Sometimes
that
I
person,
find we
yeah,
always do.
yeah, we should always do that, right? We should
Yeah,
always do that. Um, as a good leader and as someone that wants to see success for everyone on your team, you should help them make that first step. And if that's a phone call, just one-on-one with you two, you sit in a meeting, you
absolutely.
hear them
Yep,
assign something. Hey, I'm going to make, you tell you what, I'll call you tomorrow. We'll just make sure you've got it planned out and what you're going to do and what action you're going to take. Or hey, you know what? Let's start an email chain between you and I of the things that need to happen and plan that out. As the owner, you should own what you're assigning to people as well. And not
yeah,
just hand it off. You can help with that simple step. And again, that gives them a win when they know that you're behind them and supporting them to get that. And there's
absolutely.
some momentum in action right there again.
This seems like a constant theme here, right?
Yeah.
Momentum and action. See, that's your coin phrase. Mine
Yeah.
is similar but different, which is no action, no change.
Yep.
You don't want to take action, you're not going to get any change. And well, we all need to change. We just need to make small measured changes and things that are measurable and quantitative. And we can understand and evaluate whether or not the change we made is making progress. Because if it's not, it's a great time to take a time out and stop and reevaluate and circle back, right? It's funny. All this can stem from an infographic or someone just appreciating your ability to coach and help take something that they don't know how to start and get it down to something that's a little bit more manageable. And it's those manageable bites that really breed that confidence. I know over the last several episodes, I've been talking about the things that we all kind of really want as a business owner, which is to make confident decisions. And, so much of what we do is around being forceful with our actions, confident in our decision making, and having the ability to evaluate the effectiveness of those decisions. That stuff breeds confidence in others, whether it be your own team, whether it be prospects and future clients or existing clients, right? People want to know that those that they're engaging with and that they're associating with is confident, has a plan, and has a means to understand whether that plan is being effective in getting the results. That's what we all are looking for, right?
Yep.
Small steps, not big, small.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this morning I had a conversation with somebody about marketing
Mm,
and about businesses, and their marketing plans and their budgets and
mm,
that, a lot of people know, we all know we need to do marketing. We all know we need to do sales. That's part of business, right?
yes, sir.
But to begin the year and just say, I have a $5,000 budget, I'm going to spend it all and it's just going to throw it out there and just wait for the results to come in. Well, that's great. You are doing marketing, but maybe we should go one simpler step. Let's start with a simple marketing that may not cost us anything, like
Mhm.
social media. But we also need to, like you just said, we need to start tracking what results we're getting from that
Bingo.
and if it's worth our time. So that's really simple. That it's free, first of all, $0 invested, and then simply asking your customers where they came from.
Where they
You
came,
know,
yes, where they came from, where they hang out, what their interests are. You know, we have talked time in, time out about classification of your business, right? Going through your books and evaluating your business into categories and looking at, your overhead associated with each category versus the average revenue that's generated. Well, I coach and I do the same thing myself around my contacts.
yeah,
It's it's around who I'm trying to reach too. I'm categorizing and classifying um, the individuals that I come across because there's only so much time in a day, right? So it's all right, are these people fulfilling or meeting a persona, a use case, a user story? And is that someone that is going to either help me align my business or my strategy or my referral partnership, or is this someone directly tied to existing or future revenue? And those types of relationships get the priorities. And so
yeah.
when I start talking to clients about that, they're like, wait, wait, wait. You mean when you're networking, you're evaluating people and bucketing? I'm like, I know it sounds terrible, but think about it. Um, you want to spend all your time and energy in things that are going to be fruitful. So it cycles itself back to time management. How are you being efficient with your time, with others' time, and are you doing those small things that are helping you progress, take that first step, and get some momentum towards bigger goals?
Agreed, 100%. Yep. Knowing, and that's part of niching out your market as well, right?
For sure.
Drilling down to find out who's your best client, and then you can take the small steps to market directly at those people.
I mean, listen,
And they're simple steps. It's knowledge. It's collecting data. I
it
know
is. It's data
some
points.
for some data, it's like, oh, I don't like.
It's scary.
It's gonna make me
Scary.
realize I'm doing a lot of things wrong, maybe,
Yeah.
you know, but it helps you become better. And it's small steps, so it's simple. It's
Yeah.
track. I mean, it can start with a simple spreadsheet.
It should.
Customer one,
Sure.
okay, that networking. Customer two, oh, that was a call in. Oh,
Hmm.
cool. Where did they find me? Oh,
Oh, yep.
Google Business Review. Check.
Right.
Simply
Right.
you do that for 2 or 3 months, and you all of a sudden you're like, I've got the data I need to know how to spend $500 instead of my $5,000
Look
on
at that.
marketing.
So now you're making a
You know,
confident decision around targeting specific groups. That doesn't mean that you don't take other clients in other spaces or, you don't take other job types. It just means you're going to have a focus and a purpose with what you're doing with regards to your marketing and your outreach.
yeah,
Gosh, this stuff, it sounds so easy when we just talk about it,
yeah.
doesn't it?
It does. It does. When I just did that in my mind, I'm like, yeah, like I should have been doing this years ago.
You're like, Mike, why haven't we been doing this? And it's like, well, we are, but
Yeah, yeah,
but it sounds so easy because a lot of it is, but it's hard to understand how to get started, right? And if you don't come from a tech background and you understand spreadsheets and data collection, and you don't get the value of all those different data points and how you can use them and how setting it up now actually benefits the long term of your decision making processes, just getting started can be a non-starter, um,
yeah.
because you're scared. It's the unknown. You don't know. So, having people like us that can talk through the benefits, you know, work through some of your own personal stories and situations of things that have worked well, where you made changes and they stuck and you got going, and then talk through, well, what happened when this didn't work? Those are all things that help us get to a point where then you and I can say, okay, well, if this is something we want to do now, Mike, let's spend the second half of this session, this meeting, let's do some hands-on work, right? Let's not
Yeah.
just get you a plan and talk about what's next. Let's build that out, right? Let me give you a big template or skeleton structure for XYZ, show you, how I'm structuring it, how I'm thinking about it, and then your exercise for next week is to round this out, and then we're going to talk about it. That way, clients leave every week with something that is actionable, tangible, and useful for them for all the months, weeks, years that you work with that person moving forward. I
Yeah, it's
love using that model.
I love it too. I this last couple of weeks I've had a business that I've been working with, and the business owner wasn't tracking much with results from his employees. And so I had him just one meeting. We sat down. He listed out the results and performance indicators he wanted. The
Mhm.
next time we got together, we walked through those and we decided which ones were going to be the most important. And he decided really. I just was there to kind of help those small steps to make those decisions. And now he's got a full KPI system that he's tracking with his employees on certain things that are important that will drive results
Yeah.
and higher performance. And it was as simple as three meetings really all together.
Yep.
And he at first it seemed like a big task, when we sat down, we're like, what? We're suffering, we're not performing where we need to be. What can we do? And they had no tracking system. And it was now they have a full system. I go in, they have they have all the employees' names up on a board and they have green stars next to them if they're hit. I mean, it's really simple system, but it works. The employees look at it, they reward their employees for hitting these, and now they're seeing better performance across the boards.
So you're saying using data to track and set your actions, more importantly, the effectiveness of your decision making is working?
Yeah, and data they were already getting. It's data they were already getting. They just weren't looking at it.
Yeah. You know,
So,
so much of this is just you just get paralysis because you don't know what to look at. You don't know how to evaluate. I'm giving a talk next week. Probably it's going to be when this episode airs. And it's all about the strategic planning, but really the focus is on the goal setting process and the use of metrics and KPIs and KRIs, right? And sometimes when I say those two acronyms, people's eyes gloss over, and
yeah.
they're like performance indicators, results indicators. What are those things and how do they work together? And people don't understand that one drives the other. And it's like we love to pull all this data so that basically we can see if the decisions we're making are generating progress, right? Progress, the thing we all want. Everyone wants growth. Okay, well, growth can mean multiple things to different people, but how do you identify what growth means in whether you're making progress towards that growth unless you know how you're going to measure it?
Yeah. And is that growth leading to your ultimate vision
Well,
of where you want to be?
sometimes growth is not helping your bottom line, right?
No.
Doing
You can take
more.
on a lot of new
Yep.
customers. So, you can
Yep.
low value customers. You can bring 100 of them in, but maybe you should be focusing on that one high value customer that's going to bring in more than those and take less time and effort.
Let's tie this
Um,
all back to your marketing story. If you're doing that, then you start marketing to that one area or that group or that category of customer service products, et cetera, that is actually driving revenue growth for you, then that's a worthwhile investment. Otherwise, growth for the sake of conversations, bodies in the door, those types of things, they may not be actually getting you what you want, other than increased workloads, more of an inability to handle time management. So less time with loved ones, which let's be honest, we're all trying to get more time working on the business rather than actually looking at the growth and the projected value that you're adding to the overall business and the ease of operations, right? If you could
yeah,
make it easier to operate and grow with less time, less money, less diligence, and you and more on the business, the operations, and the things you're putting into place to validate, vet, and set next steps. I'm sorry, that sounds like a win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win.
yeah.
No?
Shameless plug for my
Ooh,
LinkedIn.
love that.
I posted an article recently about overcommitting as a business owner. If
Bingo.
you haven't read it, I would suggest every business owner read it. Because we all overcommit and we do those low value things out of the feeling of, it'll grow our business. It'll do these things for us to get better. It might make these small steps, but we overcommit ourselves often, and we need to do the simple things to track to make sure we're not overcommitting ourselves.
Hey, Mike, I read it. I commented
Oh,
on it.
thank you. Appreciate that.
No, I thought that was a great article, and that's something that I think we all need a little reminder on, right? It's really easy to say yes. That means we want to please everyone, and when you're trying to please everyone, you're probably pleasing no one. Circle this all back to your marketing discussion. You can't be everything to everyone. You can't market to everyone. You have to have a strategy, a purpose, right? There are three groups that I market to, and there's rhymes and reasons as to why. It has to do with their buying cycle, the sales cycle, the level of engagement and time that it's going to take me with each of those particular client types. It allows me to have a very specific purpose in my messaging and who I'm reaching out to and what types of engagements I'm looking to pull in based on my availability, the time it's going to take me with each client, and more importantly, how quickly I can get value out to those individuals. Some have a larger attention span than others, right? But it's about being purposeful in understanding and reading the metrics and those key pieces of data that you have around you and letting that help drive your decisions. What type of decisions? Confident decisions. Bam,
I
simple.
couldn't say, yeah, I don't need to say anything else.
All we got to do is keep it simple. And guess what? On that
Simple,
note,
smarty.
keep it simple, smart. Listen, I think that is a much better phrase. Me being from the Northeast, we tend to be a little negative sometimes, so that's where mine comes from. But I think just to kind of wrap things up and close them out, whether you're thinking about your sales process, your marketing process, um, just your overall actions and how you're disseminating those things across the organization, keeping it simple, making sure that you have those clear owners and that you get that first step, I think is the key to making sure that you get that momentum forward. Because as you said, it's not the first step that's hard, but that second step gets so much easier after that first one's done.
Agree completely.
Awesome.
And my last thing I want to say is if you have this big vision and you don't know where to get started, give Adam or I a call or a
Uh,
coach or someone to help you make that first step. And if you need a little clarity on where to go, that's where we come in. That's where we help out so much.
that's right. Clarity, clarity,
So
awareness, clarity. Choose your word, doesn't matter. Grab a thesaurus if need be, but I think that's so critical in understanding what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're going to get there. So awesome. Mike, thank you once again for this
yeah,
discussion. As always, I loved it. So, all of you listening out there, thank you once again for tuning in to episode 19 of Coach's Corner. Next week is our big 20th episode. Everyone in the podcasting world says that's a big one, so we'll have to do something special. So, as always, visit Mike Lamb or Adam Gahabe on LinkedIn, or you can find us on any of our business pages. But if you have any thoughts or comments around future topics, don't be shy. Send them in. We'll be happy to go chat and discuss. But once again, for both of us, thank you and have yourselves a great week.
thanks a lot.